Asher Kali with Gafni. Today is Yud Tes Tavis. So the Parsha is Shemos.
Wait a minute, where's your friend? What's his name? What's your friend's name, the little chappy? What's his name? Is he here? The little fellow. What's his name?
He's been having back pain.
What did he catch it from Bessie?
No, he had a couple years ago he had an operation on his back, and he has a metal pole in his back. So every once in a while,
What does he do to make it go bad?
I don't know.
He takes pills and he takes pain fuse and knock him out.
Now we understand why 10 people weren't there in disaster.
Everybody's having back pain. Everyone's having back pain.
I'm sorry? Don't make smart mouths at me, boy. It's not worth it. Okay? It's fortunate that my hearing is not so good. I didn't hear what you said. It's fortunate for you. Right, so now we're turning to... By the way, you didn't come to give me your tefillin. I had to come down and find them myself and give them to the guy. You don't even know what happened. Right, so we find in this week's parasha, chapter Gimel. Shemos, chapter Gimel. And we're turning to Pasuk Tes and Yud. Chapter Gimel, Pasuk Tes and Yud. And this is after the vision of the snare, or not the vision of the snare that was burning, and the appearance of Hashem to Moshe at the snare. Following that, the Eibishter tells Moshe Rabbeinu that he has seen and he's been aware of the suffering of the Jewish people in Mitzrayim, and their prayers and their shouting prayers have reached him, and that he's going to take them, he's going to come down and rescue them from Eretz Mitzrayim, and he's going to take them to Eretz Yisrael. And not only is Stam to Eretz Yisrael, but that's Eretz Teiva, Rechova, Eretz Zovis, Cholav, Udvash, El Mekei Maknani. In other words, he reckons out all the details connected with Eretz Yisrael and the whole. Oh, by the way, where's Eilenberg? What's his name? Avi. What's with him? Huh? Listen, somebody better find him after the shir and tell him that he better come and see me. Or call me. If it doesn't, I'm just not going to put up. You don't know where your brother is?
I spoke to him in the break and at the...
Hashem Ochi Anochi. So anyway, I don't mean to... A not very nice person said that, so we won't wish that on you. Okay. So, the Eibishter praises Eretz Yisrael with all its details, and he says that Viato Hine Tza'akas B'nai Yisrael Bo Elai. Now, after all that's happened, the shouting and the prayers of the Yidden have reached me. And I've seen the pressure and the suffering that Mitzrayim have put on the Jewish people. Bi'ato, another bi'ato. And now, el paroi. And now, please go. L'cho means, it's a form of the word lech. Lech means go. L'cho is another slightly literary way of writing lech. It doesn't mean for you, it means it's from the word go. Ve'eshlochacha el Paroi. I'm going to send you to Paroi. The hoitzei es ami b'nei Yisrael mi-Mitzrayim, and you will take. The word hoitzei is an imperative, and you will take the Jewish people out of Mitzrayim. And then, to our great surprise, immediately after having heard that, Moshe Rabbeinu says, "Vayem Moshe Elohu Elokim mi anechi." Who am I? Ki elech el Paroi. Will I in effect be able to do such a thing, to take the Yidden out of Mitzrayim? So we see two amazing extremities. On the one hand, the Eibishter tells Moshe Rabbeinu that he's going to send him. In other words, he's making Moshe Rabbeinu a shaliyah to do these inyanim. And immediately Moshe Rabbeinu says, look, who am I? There's almost a flat refusal, as you might call it, on the part of Moshe Rabbeinu to undertake the shlichus. So first of all, we need to understand what is the double expression, lecho ve'esh lochacha. Lecho, it's the same thing. If you're going to go, then that means I'm sending you. Who's talking to Moshe Rabbeinu? The Eibishter. So if he says to him, go, then why does he need to say, I'm going to make you a shliach? And if he's going to make him a shliach, then it's understood that he has to go. Why does he say to him, go? And we see that ad k'dei kach, he makes him a shliach, that even though he said prior to that I'm going to take the Yidden out, the Eibishter said, I'm going to rescue the Yidden, I'm going to see that they go out of their slavery. I've heard all of their charters. I'm going to take him to Eretz Yisrael with all the unbelievable milas that there are in Eretz Yisrael. And then he says to Moshe Rabbeinu, hoitzei, and you should take the Jewish people out of Mitzrayim. And so Moshe Rabbeinu hears the cue, the whole job is his, as it were. And he says, oh, wait a minute, who am I? And there's an immediate, almost like refusal, or surprised rejection of the whole idea on the part of Moshe Rabbeinu. So we need to understand, what is this whole double language? What is the concept of him being sent? And what does it follow that Al Yedei Zeh, he will take the Yidden out of Egypt? To kill the whole thing moves into the human field that Moshe is going to take the Yidden out. And in addition to that, ask yourself another very profound and basic shaila, even more in a way than the ones we just mentioned, and that is, B'chlal, why does the Eibishter need a shliach? Why does he need to send Moshe v'Aaron? And with all it's written that it took 12 months, as they bring Rashi later, as put in the Medrash and Kama Mekimas, even in the Gemara and Rosh Hashanah, that there were 12 months of all the Makkahs and all the Inyanim. It took a whole long time for the actual going out of Egypt to take place. Why do we need all that? Why do we need a shliach, and the shliach has to go and he has to talk to Paroi? Well, the Eibishter just do it all himself. The Eibishter could have just made a tremendous, smite at Paroi min hashamayim. I mean, is there any way lacking for the Eibishter? We have to sit and dream all sorts of ways the Eibishter could have finished off with Paroi and the whole Malchus Mitzrayim, and he couldn't take the Yidden out. What do you need a Moshe Rabbeinu, a Shliach with a whole Ma'aseh? And then there's a tremendous dialogue between the Eibishter and Moshe. Go. Why should I go? You have to tell me your name. You have to a whole big arichas advarim, and so you skate the whole way. When it comes to Matan Torah, the Eibishter doesn't give the Torah straight from heaven to the whole world. He gives it to the Jewish people, but even in that guf, he gives it to one person. He gives it to Moshe Rabbeinu. And then we have to be makabel the Torah for Moshe Rabbeinu. It's like some of the Yidden, like it was apparent, one of the titles of Moshe Rabbeinu about Matan Torah was give it to everybody. What do you want from me? Why do I have to be the Gamsa? So in order to answer those questions, we're going to examine one or two inyanim in this order that was given. Go, and I'm going to send you. So comes along Rashi and he says, V'ato lecho v'esh lachacho, v'im toima, and if you will say, Hashem is saying to Moshe Rabbeinu, if you will say, Ma to'il, what is it going to help? What is it going to help that I will go and I will do all that you will say? So he says, V'hoitzei, es ami, and you will take out, my people, yo'il dvorecha, your words are going to help, v'toitzi'im mishom, and you will take them out from there. So here we see that even though up to now everything's been from Hashem in the first person, I have seen and I have heard that they're suffering and I have become aware, the Eibishter said all these in Yonim. Well, now we see that in Rashi stresses that it moves now into a very personal field and Ainin of Moshe Rabbeinu's words actually. What's it going to help if I will go? You're the runner of the world, you have to do it. So he says, no. He says, you will take out my people, you all you have to do is speak. To'ilu dvorecha, if you will speak, then you will take the Yidden out of Mitzrayim. So we see here two inyanim. First of all, that Moshe Rabbeinu is going to have to speak, and that will be enough. He doesn't have to do anything more. That's what the Shlicha says. And that will help in such a way that you, Moshe Rabbeinu, will in fact take out the Yid. So I said to Shaila, what does that mean? Moshe Rabbeinu is going to take him out. The whole thing was that Hashem was going to take him out. Now we see that it's moved, a whole thing, and in the middle is this Indian of Moshe Rabbeinu's dibur, the Indian of Moshe Rabbeinu speaking. That's going to be poil the whole Yeshua. So I said to Shaila, why all of a sudden has it moved in such a way that now it's totally in Dvorecha, in your words? And once it's been, the whole going out of Egypt will be literally related, or how do you call it, it'll be given down in history that who took the Yidden out? Moshe Rabbeinu took him out. But Toitzi'ei Mishon. So Moshe Rabbeinu automatically says, wait a minute, you passed it all on to me, and you pass it on to my words and my speech. So first of all, Moshe Rabbeinu says, Mi anoichi, who am I beklau, that they should, kings and all the ministers and that of Adaganza, Mitzrayim, which is the biggest power in the whole world, what are they going to listen to me? And Satan says, if it's all dependent in my dibur, then I can't talk either. And that we see as the basis of the whole argument between him and Hashem. And if that's the case, Moshe Rabbeinu should have been misbeinen in the fact that the Eibishter is going to make him a shliach. Everything will be all right. If the Eibishter is going to make him a shliach, then nothing will happen. That's exactly what the Eibishter says to him. A little bit further on, the Eibishter says to him, in the middle of the Dibur Amashka, ki imoch, I'll be together with you. Rashi brings down that you were going to be matzliach in my shlichas. And he said, and I'm worthy and I have enough to give you protection that you won't be damaged in my shlichas. In other words, that even though you're going on my shlichas, you're my messenger, you're not going to be damaged. If you're my shliach, then what could be a better messenger sender than me? If I make you into a shliach, then moving that you're not going to be damaged al yidei the shlichas. So if we look at this expression, and now go and I'm going to make you my representative, I'm going to send you, exactly the same Lashon occurs when Yaakov Avinu sent Yosef over to the brothers. He sent them over before the whole business began with the selling of Yosef and all the tzaras that came out of that. It's written over there that Yaakov Avinu said to Yosef, he said to him, I'm going to send you to your father, but he said to him, go and I will send you. Exactly the same lashon. So comes along over there, the Erechim HaKodesh, and the Erechim HaKodesh says, what does it need to say to him? Go and I will send you. He said, because if we examine that situation, then there's a lot of l'choira, danger involved in sending Yosef into the lion's mouth, because everybody knew that the brothers hated Yosef. Everybody knew that they were very against him. So all of a sudden, Yaakov Avinu says to him, "Oh yes, go, and I'm sending you to your brothers." So later on, we know that was a tremendous divine, and Rashi hints at it, that he sent him Me'emech Chevrain, from the valley of Chevrain, over there. Rashi says over there, from the Oimek of Hashem's purpose. This happened and that happened, and eventually he even went to Mitzrayim with the whole Inyan. But of course, it's a pele. How come Yaakov Avinu sent him into a Mokim Sakona? He told him to go into a very, very dangerous place. Look at 12 brothers that were very much against him, and they weren't in the father's presence. They were way out in the field someplace. But there's a famous Sefer Chassidim, where the Sefer Chassidim said that Yosef had the right, al pi Torah, not to have gone. He could have just said, "Listen, I'm terribly sorry, but you're my father, and I have to give you kibbud av. Yeah, I'm mechuyev to listen to what you tell me, but not when it's a sakonas nefashos. I don't have to listen." So does everybody know what the famous teretz on that is? You're supposed to know. The Sefer Chassidim says on that a very world-shaking teretz, and he said that Yosef learned from Esau. Yeah, he learned from Esau. What did he learn from Esau? It's written in Parashat Torah, taught that Yaakov said to Esau, "Why don't you sell me the Bechorah?" And so Esau said to him, "I'm going to die. What do I care about the Bechorah?" So what does it mean, I'm going to die? So Rashi teaches that he's going to have to be a Bechorah, he's going to have to serve on the Mizbeh, and all sorts of halachas that you can be chayav misa. Rashi learns a whole lomdish pshat over there, I'm going to die. The Sefer Chassidim says that Esau had tremendous, unbelievable kibbud av. And that every day he used to go out into the forest and bring game and hunting game for his father, that he should have a proper suda every day. And to go in those days out to the wilds and hunt animals and hunt birds, well, that was a tremendous sakona. About a kibbud av, Esau used to do it. Zot the Sefer Chassidim, from that we learn, l'choira, and that Yosef backed it up, and Yosef said, "Oh, if Esau can do that for kibbud av, then for sure I can do it." And Yaakov said, "You have to go to your brothers," and Yosef said, "Oh yes, here I am." And the Sefer Chassidim said that he learned. The Sefer Chassidim was Rabbi Yehuda HaChassid, from the Rishonim, and he said he learned from Esau that you have to have Mesiras Nefesh for kibbud. Very famous Sefer Chassidim. So I don't know what you guys are all going to do now, but you have to have Mesiras Nefesh for kibbud. Yeah, for kibbud up to the point that you have to be ready to go out into the fields and have yourself attacked by wild animal. Well, I heard that everybody was pachuchkit about the fact that there was an attack on an animal here in the Kfar. Everybody spent a lot of time being mevatel from their learning, talking about what had happened. Anyway, there was a big danger of animals. Nonetheless, Esau went out, mitzad kibbud. Kibbud says that Yosef learned from Esau. When Yaakov said to him, "Go," Yosef said, "Oh yes, here I am." So comes again the Erachim HaKodesh over there, and he takes it slightly differently. And he says to him, "L'cho ve'esh l'chacha, I want you to go. I know what you're going to say to me. How can I possibly go?" I mean, that's a dangerous mission you're sending me on. So therefore, Yaakov said, "Ve'esh l'chacha, and I will send you. If I send you and you're my shliach, Yeah, then I'm like Yankee Vino, I'm the Tzaddik Hador, and therefore you have full protective insurance. Tzaddik, there won't be anything that will eventually happen, because I'm sending you become my Shliach, and my Stam, Shluchim Mitzvah, Einam Nizochim, says the Gemara Masechta Pesachim, the Shluchim Mitzvah, Einam Nizochim, if you're my Shliach into the bargain, for sure you're not going to be done. Is that the Chama? So come to again there, Chaim Kodesh over here, and he says that Moshe Rabbeinu, the Eibush said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Akal v'chema legavi Yankiva Vino, and he said, first of all, you have to go. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, what? Go? Go into Mitzrayim, maybe that's worse than going into the atomic bomb den, not let alone a lion, the ganze Mitzrayim. So the Eibush said, I'm going to make you into the bargain a shliach. And madach stam shluchim einam nizokim shliach. But father is a shliach. The Gemara says shluchim mitzvah einam nizokim. Not stam shluchim, but shluchim mitzvah einam nizokim. Is if you're a shliach mitzvah of mine, then you have nothing to worry about. That's what Rashi writes of ein nizok. You want for sure nothing's gonna happen to you. The doubling of the Lashon, the first one he told him what's involved. You have to go. Muske, and Moshe Rabbeinu in the middle said, how can I go? So therefore it was like, is like a covering of the insurance policy. It's like a saying, no, you can go, and shum nezik lo yikrelecha. Comes again the Sapono, the Rabbi Sapono, and he says that Moshe Rabbeinu had a special task here, that he had to give Hasroah to the Mitzri. You know what Hasroah is? Oh, you guys never heard of Hasroah? Hasroah means warning. And Al Pi Torah, Al Pi Din Torah, a person can't become Chayav Misa for having done any Aveira, Al Pi Torah, which he might be Chayav Misa or Chayav Malchus for that matter, any corporal punishment. You first of all got to warn him and say, listen here, don't do that. Somebody has to be there, when he's about to do it, and that's the aidim, and they have to say to him, listen here, man, don't do that, because if you do, you'll be chayav misa, and he has to say, nonetheless, I'm doing it. In other words, he has to do it negate their warning. That's called asra. Otherwise, a person al pi din can't be chayav misa al pi Torah unless he's been given warning for that. Called asra. So therefore, the supporter learns that Paro was going to be in big trouble. I mean, he's going to get tremendous punishment, and so would all these people, and eventually in the Yam Suf, who knows what was going to happen to him. There had to be, first of all, literally an aid, somebody that's going to give Hasruah. In other words, the supporter's point is a very interesting one. Kaviyach Hashem can't, I suppose he could be, but he didn't want to be. Hashem is the one who's going to do the punishment. He's like the Manish. He's like the Bezdin. Remember, there has to be somebody that's going to warn Paro. So therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu was sent in order to be a shliach mitzvah, as it were, to give the warning, and then it would be possible to punish their mitzvah. Now the truth of the matter is, the Rebbe had a whole big discussion about that, Benegeya to the Machas Borot. For example, in Parsha Boi, over there, Rashi also says, but Rashi says only Lagabi, the second last, or third last of all the Machas, which is the Machas Hail, Borad. Over there, Rashi says that Moshe Rabbeinu was sent, and the Eibush said to him, "Hasrei b'hem," and warned them. But that's a big discussion. Why did Rashi say that? Later's all that, and what did he mean with that? That's another Indian. The Sapona learns that Beklal had to be Hasra for the whole 10 markers, all of them. So that's another geder in the Indian of the Shliches. Why did Hashem have to send somebody? But we'll come back to that Nakuda. However, sometimes it's brought down in the words of the Rebbe and Beklal in Chassidus that sometimes we find in the words of Pnimis HaTorah and in the words of the great Mekubalim, that they were the forerunners at the Gilui of Torah Chassidus, that we sometimes find in their words a biur which helps us also b'derech hapshat. And without the inin of the Kabbalah, it's hard to understand the Pirush HaPoshet. So comes along here the Arizal, in the Lekutei Torah of the Arizal Parsha Shemos, what's one on he wrote a sefer, or he didn't write any one, but the Rabbeinu Chaim Vital wrote a sefer called Lekutei Torah, which was Biurim on the Parshiyas of the Torah that he'd heard from the Arizal. So he writes over there, on this pasuk, V'ato lecho v'shalachacho, and he says like this, an amazing thing, the Arizal. We're going to have to discuss one of the main points that he makes a little bit more in detail. And he also deals with this question, why did he say, go and I will send you? What's the double language? And he says like this. He says that Moshe Rabbeinu's going involved a lot of good things, but it also involved bad things. What was good things? That eventually they didn't win out. The Mitzrayim got smoked. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe not. We'll see about that later on. But they had got the Mitzrayim copped it. Moshe Rabbeinu was going, however, caused that the Yidden went through a terrible period where the war got incomparably worse. Right at the end of the parsha, we see the Pari got Perigas, and he made the whole Golos, I don't know how much worse than it was back. Yeah, it was before. Ad Kedikak, Moshe Rabbeinu, when he comes out of meeting Pari, the Shoitri B'nai Yisrael, standing in the way, and they said, listen here, man, you've made things incomparably worse. That's written in the parsha, right near the end. And Moshe Rabbeinu, Ad Kedikak, the Moshe Rabbeinu goes to Hashem and he says, yeah, Lama Hara Isa Lo Am Hoseh, why did you make bad and evil for these people? Yeah, Lama Zeh Shlachtani, why did you make me a shliach from at the beginning? And we'll see now in the words of the Arizal, it's going to be good. Maybe we said, why Moshe Rabbeinu said, Lama Zeh Shlachtani. I trust that you're writing things about the Shir. Yeah, very good, because I can only see that you're busy over there. It's a bit hard for me to see anymore. So, Ekumtais, I mean, if you're busy with that, then Tovi Alecha Brocha. Over Ochapanim, says the Arizal that since there were two things here, there were two inyonim, there was good and there was bad, then the Eivja said to him, two Lashenas, Lecho v'esh lechacho. And he says a very amazing thing. Kilo derech ha'adrush omad. And the Arizal says that a bad thing, Hashem doesn't want to connect his name with something that's openly bad. Or something that's openly good, Hashem doesn't mind connecting his name with it. So therefore, connected the bad things that were going to happen, he said to him, you go. Too bad, you got to take on yourself, it's going to be bad. I'll make you my shliach, or for the good, I'm prepared to make you my shliach. For the good, yeah, you'll be my shliach. I'm prepared to link my holy name with the good. With the bad, I'm careful. I don't, Hashem says, I don't do that. And then, as he stated in the Lekutei Torah from there, and then he brings a dogma from the beginning of the Sefer Yeshaya Novi. But there's an amazing thing about Yeshaya Novi, that he's called the Novi Geula. Or he only starts really talking about the Geula and cocking in the Geula from a certain way through, albeit. Yeah, it's quite early in the Sefer that he really starts talking about the Geula, but up till then, yeah, the Haftarah that we read on Shabbos, Chazayin, the Shabbos before Tisha B'Av, is what's the name of the Haftarah? Yeah, you. What's the name of the Haftarah? So maybe you just stop sloughing under my nose and shocking yourself out.
I was writing down.
Just like a man. Okay?
I was writing.
Huh?
I was writing.
Oh, you were writing at Shabbos Chazayin. Yeah. And my the Haftarah of Chazayin Yeshayahu. And that's a very heavy Haftarah. Yeshayahu really goes to town over there, and he says all of the bad things that are going on and what's likely to happen. So Eva says, what do you call him? The Arizal, he says that there are two parts to the whole message of Yeshayahu Novi to the world. Part of it is Tzoreth, part of it is very heavy Tzoreth, and part of it is Nechama. And therefore he said, if you look at the beginning, that it's an amazing thing. The Eibishter said to the Jewish people at the beginning of the Sefer Yeshayahu Hanavi, and he said, Mi eshlach u'mi yelech lanu. That's what he said. Who am I going to send and who will go for us? You follow? Hij steht dort. Komt again Yeshayahu Hanavi, and Yeshayahu Hanavi pops up and puts up his hand and he said, oh yes. He said, Oti tishlach. He said, I'm prepared to be the one. But he always says, you send me. So the Rizal makes an amazing deal. And he says, give a cook. The Eivishter said, he said, who will I send and who will go for us? And Yeshayahu Hanavi pops up and he says, yes, send me. He didn't say I will go. So he said, from what? He said, because the going part of it, that's going to be for the bad. That's going to be, you're going to have to give bad nevuah. And bad things are likely to happen. Rahman in Klan, if you give a nevuah, then it's likely to happen. It's likely to be bad. But for the nechomas and all the wondrous comforts that you're going to give to the Jewish people, without him saying, I'll send you. Yeah? And he said, therefore it's written, Eshlach Eshlach B'Loshen Yochin. They're the Eibishter and him are one thing together. Oh, when it comes to the going, Mi Yelech Lanu, that's plural, that's everybody's involved. Hashem backs away, as it were. Amazing pshat in there is. That's how he learned pshat at the beginning of the Sefer Yeshayahu. So if he's come to, he said the Eibishter doesn't want to link his name, as it were, with the bad. He doesn't want that the bad should be said, I made you my shliach. What are you going to do? So therefore, I was busy to tell you guys to get the Sefer, but anyway, even though I told you, I doubt if you would have got it anyway. And that is, this is the Megillus Eicha. Megillus Eicha. Probably you wouldn't have got it because you would have said, listen, tells us to get a Sefer Eicha. We're Mishachristim around here. We're going to get the Megillus Eicha. Megillus Eicha belongs to the Tishas Yomim, to Tisha B'Av. We're Mishachristim. So I doubt if anybody would have got it anyway. Nobody appreciates my sarcasm. But anyway, so now we come to Eicha Peri Gimel. To the Eicha Peri Gimel. And over there, Yirmiyahu Hanavi, not Yeshayahu Hanavi, no, Yirmiyahu Hanavi. Well, it's interesting, in that same medrash where it's quoted that Yeshaya is Chotzi, sort of a Chotzi Nechoma, it's written that Yirmiyahu is Kule Tzorah. Yirmiyahu, he lived through the actual Chutna, the Bayis Rishon, and he was put in prison with the whole, and Yirmiyahu had really difficult, and therefore he was the one who lamented the destruction. In chapter Gimel, Pasuk Lamed Ches, Yirmiyahu Hanavi says that Mipi Elyon, from the mouth of the Most High, Loiseitze Horois Vahatoi. He said, from the mouth of the Most High, meaning Hashem, there will not go out the evil things. Bad things don't go out from the Eivishter. Viatoi, and good things also not. In simple pshat, that's what it means. It means that not bad and not good go out from the Eivishter. As if not good and not bad go out from the Eivishter, what does the Eivishter do? Marvelous there. So therefore the next pasuk says, Ma yiseinen odom choi. A man who is still alive, what should he complain about? Geber al chator. If he's a strong person, he's an honest person, he should complain about his own sin, not about anything else. Don't ever complain about anything. Just by Krishna Shalamita, complain to the Eivishter about your sin, about the fact that you've sinned, not that he did anything. So comes again Rashi, a very famous Rashi over here. Rashi really goes to town. Rashi says that Mizeh Kumtais. From that it follows that there's really no bad and there's no good come from the Eivishter. Is good and bad are only results of your actions. In other words, that if you do good, then you get good. If you do bad, then you bring bad. In other words, if you do bad, you bring bad into the world, and you bring bad on yourself. Or you see it. If you do good, then you bring good into the world, you bring good on yourself and everybody. What does the Eibush do? The Eibush is like a huge conductor. You know, the Eibush is waiting to see what's going to happen. Yeah, and then if he said, the Eibush runs the world according to what we do. Here's what Rashi, if you look in Rashi carefully, that's what he says. And then he comes along. Now the interesting thing is that I found, I don't know what print of the Nach that you got, but there's one print of the Nach which doesn't bring this whole piece in Rashi, which is I'm about to say now. It just doesn't bring it. It just stops. It stops at the word stop. The whole next piece doesn't occur in one of the prints that I saw of the Nach. Yeah, very interesting. So it's written, Kilo, we repeat again the Dibu HaMashkel of the Pasik, Mi Piel in Loisait, Omer Rabbi Yochanan. Have you guys got it? Have you got Omer Rabbi Yochanan? Could be you got the Nachs, but it's not brought down. Tell it. Omer Rabbi Yochanan? You got it? Now the truth of the matter is, it's not Rabbi Yochanan either. In all the Medrashim that I looked up, it's not Rabbi Yochanan, no, it's Rabbi Elazar. And Stam Rabbi Elazar in the Gemara is Rabbi Elazar ben Pados. Now Rabbi Elazar ben Pados, he was more at the Ara Yisrael, the Gemara says. He was like the Rav, the Pesach of the whole Eretz Yisrael. Now Rabbi Yochanan was also Azai. But Rabbi Yochanan was before Rabbi Elazar, Stam Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi Elazar ben Pados. And Mamela, Rashi's got it that Rabbi Yochanan said this. Of all the Midrashim that they bring it, they say Rabbi Elazar said it. Stam Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Elazar ben Pados. Anyway, that's a big Indian. I don't know if we're going to have time to go into that. So Rabbi Yochanan says, Miyayim she'omah HaKadosh Baruch Hu, from the day that Eibush said, Riyei nosati lefonecha es hachayim v'es ha'toiv. Behold, I placed in front of you the good and the good and bad. Loi yotzer ra v'toiva mipiv. There's not ever gone out good or bad from the mouth of the Eibushter. Ela hara bo mi'alei le'isara v'toiv le'isatei. Bad comes automatically to those who do bad, and good comes automatically to those who do good. But it's up to you. Yeah, rain is starting to fanecha, uvachata b'chaim. They give you eitzah, and he says you choose the right way. But it's up to you, because choose means it's up to you. You have to choose. Yeah. So depending on which way you choose, that's the one. That's the way it goes. Lefi chok, says Rashi. That's why the next posse comes along. Ma yisayne. What can a mensch complain? Why on earth should a mensch complain? What's he got to complain about? Lama Yisrael or Odom. Im leo chatoav. He's got nothing to complain about except his own sin. They've got absolutely nothing to complain about. Because if anything doesn't go good, then blame yourself. We're supposed to be there. If things go good, not to my noise. Also, shake your own hand. A good person. He was a very fair judge, and so he gave you good. No, not to my noise. That everything's totally managed in the mean. The Eibushter says clearly in that pasuk, Lafi Rashi, that Mipielin loy teitza hara, that from the Eibushter Ra doesn't go. And even Toiv Echne, I feel Toiv Gamla. Kurz again, the Targum, how do you call him? The Targum Yenison over there, and the Targum Yenison teaches it differently. And I must admit that the short amount of time I've been acquainted with this Targum Yenison, I haven't really managed to understand him, and therefore I'm just going to tell you what he says, but the nafkamina lepoyo I can work out. So it says the Targum Yenison like this. He said, Mipi elakor, from the Eibushter, loy tepuk bishos. Bad is not going to go, bad won't go out. However, he says, Elohon al bras kola neither. He said, however, it can be hinted at in a Basco. He said, the Avish can hint at bad in a Basco. He said, Kegon, or begin, Chatufin, the Ismailius Ara, because all the thieves and chappers that the world was full of them. What on earth was that? Chatufim in Aram means chappers, grabbers. How do you call them? Highwaymen, they call them bushrangers, people they cut, steal. What's it got to do with it? Yeah, so I looked up in the Mabu. In the Mabu, it's written that the Mola Ha'oretz Chamos, that the world was full of steal. Yeah, and Rashi said that the whole world, the reason why the Avish bought the Mabu was because of stealing, because of chappers. And over there, state claw in the Targum Yenim, a state over there, Ismailius Ara Chatufin, exactly the same lesson. Sitting at the and if you look at the Avish says, Hinani, I'm going to destroy the world. It says the Targum Yenim, that the Avish says, Mipnei Uvdoihin. He said, because of the bad deeds of these guys, the Ismailius Ore Chatufin, the world is full of all these stealers. Because of that, there's going to be kafir. And remember the Targum Yenis, it says clearly, oh no, it's not the Avish that's going to destroy the world. The deeds of the peoples are going to destroy the world. Because they're all Dishmaris, Are Chatufin, the Father Avish took a brain on it, he's going to start to, as it would go along, and so therefore, the Targum Yenis literally learned that what the Avish said, I'm going to destroy the world, is only a Basco. It's not really the Avish that's talking. That's not really him talking. Because the Avish would never give any Ra out, or have anything to do with Ra, anything which is bad. The Avish doesn't, it has to be hinted at. He gets involved only because the people bring it on himself. Tamid is a little bit of a kashi here of Rabbi Yochanan, because Rabbi Yochanan says that it's only from the time that the Avish said, but that was already Matan Torah. What about before Matan Torah? Before Matan Torah would appear, according to Rabbi Yochanan or Rabbi Elazar, there was a different Seder. Exactly what was the Seder is a good question. But it wouldn't be totally necessarily in the deeds of people. Be totally in some other. So according to Rabbi Yochanan, the Abish could be that he did be Goyzerah before Matan Torah, after Matan Torah. And according to the Targum Yenis, he was maybe Goyzerah or Ra happened, but there's there, I feel a far Matan Torah. I must say, that remains a question mark in my mind. B'diuk, was it the ultimate relationship of the Targum Yenis with the Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Yochanan? But actually, yeah, we see that in the Targum Yenis, we didn't finish him. So he said, and then he says, "O bi'idan de boila migza toiva bi'alma mipi kucha nafke." Mipum kucha nafke. From his holy mouth it does go out. So in other words, if he wants to be geyser toiv, then the Avishta does say it from his mouth, not a Basco, said directly from his mouth. So that would appear that the Targum Yenis learns differently than Rashi, that not both Ra and Toiv are dependent on the mensch, nor Ra is dependent on the mensch. But Toiv, the Avishta is prepared to do that. And therefore we have to say that he learns a different pshat in the pasuk, and he learns Pi Elyon Lo Yitzeitza Haroez. Pause. Viha Toiv. But Toiv is another thing. Viha Toiv, it could have just been written, Mi Pi Elyon Lo Yitzeitza Haroez V'Toiv. Was it Vaha Toiv? B'Tavov? Ella? That's kilo another inyan. Zeh kilo inyan b'fnei atzmai. When it comes to Toiv, the Avishta does yeah. Yeah, it does yeah. Avarani. Now, if we learn like that, then, what the Arizal said makes good sense. Because the Arizal says that something evil, the Avish doesn't want to connect his name with that. Doesn't want to connect his name with it. Whatever he doesn't say, I'm going to make you my shliach. That you have to go and you have to kill in a way, take your own achas b'docha. You have to go on your own. Where it's going to be Toiv, oh yes, Toiv, I'm prepared, yeah. Toiv, I'm prepared to link my name with it, because when I give Toiv into the world, then I'm geyser, befeirish, mi piel, and I say the Toiv. And that's like the Targum Yenis. That's what he said. I mean, this kilo very delicate machlekes here in the very early authorities. How far does this whole principle go? That everything's dependent on the mensch and not the Eibishter. Of course, they agree that evil comes from the mensch. But evil doesn't go out from the Eibishter. Pele. And did you guys ever learn this? Maybe one day you do. I mean, it's a very amazing thing. There's a very famous hemshuk from the Rebbe Marash, which is called the Hemshuk Mayim Rabim. Have you heard about it? There's a big long first chapter in the Hemshuk Mayim Rabim before he gets Kilo started with the great big long chapter where the Rebbe Marash goes to town on this whole principle that people don't realize that they bring their own evil on themselves. And he goes away with certain psukim in the Tehillim, with Mashma, also the same principle in the Tehillim. And then he brings down this Indian also, that and he brings down that the certain people in those days, they must have dreamed up some new Indian. People went up in like sort of things off the ground with what do you call them, balloons or something. They used to go up on the ground. They used to move across the earth to get to some other place to make money. It was like a business or something. It was tremendously masukah, and yet nonetheless, in order to get money, they were prepared to do it. And he writes over there that if anything happened to them, they're to blame. It's an amazing piece, a very famous piece from the Rebbe Marash. And anyway, he says that anything bad in this world comes from you. It doesn't come from the Eibishter. Lo ba'am yakoshbo. Al Chapanim, as he said to the Rebbe Marash, and a whole big, it looks mamish like a very severe Sefer Musa. You read that whole passage at the beginning of the Hemshuk Mayim Rabim, and you begin to feel really shaky. He really goes to town with that. In other words, it must have been a time when all these mishugasim were flying around, and people were all into making money, in the sukundik ways, and all sorts of weird things. The Rebbe Marash really goes to town with a long, big, about 3 or 4 pages of Musa, really sharp. But that's the central point. Therefore, says the Rizal, Rizal says, he said to Moshe Rabbeinu L'cho, you got a taina, it's going to be bad, and that's killing your part of the deal. You have to go. The good things are going to happen to the Yidden, that I'll make you more clear. Because the Eibishter doesn't want to link himself with the evil. He doesn't want to link himself with the evil. But the evil is really from the people. So it's not really his Indian. Therefore, he doesn't want to link with it. Tell it. So I thought the Shaila, but sof kol sof, does the Eibishter really do bad? Does the Eibishter let bad exist in the world? No. I mean, sof kol sof, everything bad is really for the good. I mean, ultimately speaking, anything bad is really, ultimately, it's got to be good. That's what the Alter Rebbe says in Perikov Beis, in Tanya, that the whole Metzius of the Ra is only in order to make us understand the Torah. What's the Eibishter frightened of? He knows better than anybody else that everything's going to be for the good. If it was you, why does he say to Moshe, oh no, the bad part of it, that's killing you, that's your deal. So the good part of it, I'll link myself with it. It's all going to be good. Belavach. That's Angit. And I knew we had to say that in the end, everything's going to be good. But since sof kol sof, people suffer in the meantime. And since sof kol sof, there is a matzias which can be called Ra in the meantime, Hashem doesn't want that should come back directly to him. The people should say, oh, that's the Eibishter makes bad. And it should only later it come from a deep isboneness on the part of the people that really that turned out to be good, and therefore anything we assumed from the Eibush was bad is anyway wrong. But the Eibush didn't want to directly give a Pishchen Peh to the creation, that it should be, Pishchen Peh means opening of the mouth, an excuse, that the creation should be able to say to him, listen here, bad things also come out of you. And therefore the Eibush said, oh no, not even Begolui am I going to link the Indian as bad. Thank you, Ray. Emma, we have to now be Mizbayin, and what about the mitzvah? So the whole cheshbon in the Arizal is the Yid. He said there's good things happen to the Yid and there's bad things happen to the Yid. But what about the mitzvah? I mean, Sof, they really copped the mitzvah. Yeah, and a lot of seemingly evil things happened to the mitzvah. I mean, and then in the end, it was a machas b'choros. I mean, it's a very heavy macha for a people to undergo. And the amazing thing is, if you look up over there by the machas b'choros, it's written over there that the Eibush says, I'm going to come out, I'm going to smoke the b'choros, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. The Eibush says that he's going to do it. And that we say in the Agoda. When it came to the last of the Makkos, then Hashem said, Ani v'loi malach, Ani v'loi hashriach, Ani hu v'loi ach. And that's only by the Machas HaPechoros. And that was a whacking great Macha to the Mitzrim, and it was very bad for the whole Egyptian people and all the Goyim. They all you shake him with the Ra that happened to the Mitzvah. The Eibush does link himself with Ra, because he says, there's a two. The Eibush said he's going to do it himself. Here we are. So there was very amazing Gemara, Masechta Pesachim. But the Gemara, it's an amazing thing. You just learn the Gemara, you still don't really notice it all that much when you think about it for a second. It's Mamash Apele, Daf Kuf Yud Ches, Homad Beis, right near the end of Masechta Pesachim. An amazing Gemara over here, and what it says, it teaches all the psukim in the Hallel. So it teaches a pasuk in the Hallel, where we say, Hallelu es Hashem kol goyim, Shabachuhu kol ha'umim. And then we say, why? Ki govor aleinu chazdei. Yeah, that the Eibush has given us tremendous chesed. V'emes Hashem le'elam hallelu. This is the Eibush's emes. This is great, hallelu. So, why should the goyim? Why should they be praising Hashem? Ki govor aleinu chazdei. So exactly that. Ask the Gemara. And the Gemara says, Omar, my diksi. Hallelu Hashem kol goyim. Says the Gemara, Maya vidatayu. What are the goyim doing here? What are you saying to them that they should praise the Eibush ki gover aleinu? Maya vidatayu is a lesson in the Gemara. What's their role here? What do they got to do? Literally, what are they doing here? Hachikoma, says the Gemara. This is the terror. Hachikoma. This is what we meant to say. Hallelujah, Hashem kol goyim. Agvuleish v'nifloish do avid bahadayu. That the Eibush Kilu made gvuleish v'nifloish, which means nisim, bahadayu, in reference to them. Yeah? Koshkein anu. Yeah? How much more us, the govor aleinu chazda. So it depends, when you look at it in the Gemara, it's clear the Gemara is divided the pasuk into two portions. And it says, Hallelujah Hashem kol goyim yashabchu kol. Because of the nisim that he did for them. In other words, exactly what he did, we have to find out, but he did gvulis when he flows by say. They have to praise the Eibush. How much more so we, the pasuk is like a kal v'chomer to the end. How much more so us, we have to praise the Eibush. Ki gover aleinu chazdei v'emes Hashem. If the goyim have to praise, the kosh came with kal v'chomer. Okay. So people try to work out, what's the dog saying that the Eibush made niflois and gvulis Yeah, by the Goyim. What finally floors does he make by the Goyim? So we have here a Pirush of Rashi. What Rashi on Psochim, particularly on the last Perek of Psochim, not on the whole Psochim, the last Perek of Psochim, the Mesupak, we're in doubt of whether that's really Pirush Rashi. The truth is we don't know for sure. That's why the Lomdim tend to learn the Rashbam more than they do Rashi, because the Rashbam, for sure we know that that's the genuine manuscript from the Rashbam. We're not sure if there's a Pirush Rashi. And therefore sometimes there's little strange mistakes or things that look a bit funny. However, it comes along Rashi, and he says, what are they supposed to praise? Yeah, the Chazisu, because the Goyim see, Agavur is Nifloi, the Chazisu she'osa li, could they see what the Goyim did for us? Yeah, I say it learned Rashi. I'm a Militite, that they have to praise the Eibishter for the Gavuris that he did to us. And we have to praise Kal V'Chema, because we know that Gover Aleinu Chal. And I mean, Rashi's Kilo moved the whole thing, Nisim with the Floyd David Bahadayu, for our sake. For our sake, they have to praise. How much more so we have to praise, because we sort of Gover Aleinu. Right. Comes again the Marsh. Where? And the Marsh says, wait a minute, that's a kilo. That's like mixing the kasha and the teretz together. The kasha said, what are the goyim doing here? And the teretz says that they kilo have their own niflois and this, and mamela, they have to praise the Eibush. Now we have to praise the Eibush. How much more so? And really comes to us that they're praising the Eibush for the same thing we're praising the Eibush. So the Mashal says he's not up to say, he doesn't quite sort of go for that one. And he said maybe we have to say that they have to praise the Eibush for things that he did to them, Gevuris v'niflois, lav dafki nisim that he did purely for their sake, or the nisim that they copped it. They have to praise the Eibishter for that. How much more so we have to praise the Eibishter because it was chesed. And by that it was even Gevuris v'niflois. So come to Islafiza, that the Marshal is revealing a point that they have to praise the Eibush because they copped it for the sake of eventually sending the Yidden out. That's one thing. How much more so we got pure chesed because we got out. We for sure have to praise them. So the Marshal he bridges between the two. He separates and yet he Mamela bleibt es not bad. So I looked up in a safe that the Hadikunex, the Rav Yitzhak Verditcheva, you guys all heard of him. The Alter Rebbe is a very close friend and comrade. The Verditcheva, he wrote a sefer called Kedushas Levi. He was a Levi. He wrote a sefer called Kedushas Levi. He's in Pasha Shmeis. He goes to town on this point. And he's married sort of an arichas a little bit more than what he usually does. The great Polish of is more shorter pieces. It's not sort of big long arichas like in Chabad. And here he goes a whole big long line almost. The Veditcha beginning with this point. So he said he makes a gewaldig deal, the Veditcha, and he says Kibakuk. He said the Mitrim they copped it, albeit they copped it. Yeah, they copped it very hard. He said, however, Ali Deizeh, everybody comes to know the greatness of the Eibishter. And everybody comes to know not only the greatness of the Eibishter, but everybody comes to know that the Eibishter runs the world with a chesed. And that if you do bad, then eventually you're going to have to give a dinba. Says the Vaditcheva, come to us. That's a gewaldige Teuve for the Mitzvah. Because, Sofkosov, they are Rishonim. Terrible people. They did these terrible things. Unbelievable things with seven guitars. And once he comes along the edge and he just, knocks them all to pieces and blows them all over the place. And in the end, in the Kriyas Shamsov, he drowns them all and everything. So the Mitzvah go down in history. Terrible, unbelievable people that they have to bury them in the sea in it. So they said, no. And he does the pshat. He said, that pshat is, that's a tremendous toiva for the Mitzvah. That a came out understanding of the greatness of Hashem and His way of running the world from the mitzvah. In other words, that deep inside, the Mitzrayim had a tremendous aliyah, alidei, what they kept all the. And he said, Ad Kadei Kach, that the Eivisha goes out of his normal way. And when it came to the Machas HaBechiros, what that was killed a key blow to the Mitzrayim, the Eivisha said, oh yes, I'm killing the principle. The reason he said, there I'm prepared to connect myself with it, because there everybody's going to say, whoa, look at this unbelievable greatness and the moral greatness of the Eivisha, that he mamish blew these Mitzrayim for the unbelievable, terrible things that they done. Some unbelievable, terrible things that they did. The Eivisha said in the Brisbane of Besorim to Avram Avinu that they're going to be enslaved, that the Mitzvah are going to enslave. They're only doing a mitzvah. You know that the famous kash here. The Rambam fragt out the kash in Hilchis Duat, in Hilchis Deis. The Rambam fragt the kash, and he answers and tells what everybody goes to town about the Rambam's Torah. So we won't go into the Rambam Torah, but tonight is the outside of the Rambam. I'm going to bring another Rambam shot. But anyway, there's a famous Rambam over there, Chaim HaKodesh, and the Ramban. The Ramban says very similar. There, Chaim HaKodesh writes it beautifully, and he said, Emes, the Eivisha said to the Mitzrayim that they got to enslave the Yidden for 400 york. It wasn't 400, and it was only 210. So there's different ways you can do it. So they could have kept the Yidden, and they could have said, listen, guys, you got to be slaves. He said, they were mahadir in their mitzvah, they'll appear me more than what they were supposed to be mahadir. I mean, you know what I mean by mahadir. In other words, they enslaved the Yidden, but they did it with the grime, sadism, that shouldn't have been. And that's why they had to copy. They had to do it, but they didn't have to do it like that. And the Chaim HaKodesh says the same with the Arabah. He writes over there, he said the same with Yishmael, because he was in the Golas Yishmael, he was by the Arabah, you know. The Chaim HaKodesh was in Morocco. Oh, he goes to town with her. He said, what's going to happen to all these Arabah and what the Eivisha is going to punish them? He really goes to town. He said, because we had to be by them. The Eivisha wanted it that way, but not that they should handle it that way. Anyway, that's why they copy. So it says that is the most unbelievable chesed of the Eivisha, that these guys have to copy it, and they have to copy it for Od Eich. But they copied it in such a way that everybody praises Hashem and says, look at the wonderful justice of Hashem and the wonderful way Hashem does things. And he said that is a tremendous teva for the worst mitzvah that existed. He said, that's a teva b'shvila. Amazing thing. And then he goes on to say, the difference is that Goyim don't realize that. He said, but Yidden do. And he says, why is it that Rabbi Akiva must have that unbelievable thing? He said, Rabbi Akiva said the whole of his life that he wants to go and Kiddush Hashem. I said to Rabbi Akiva, he was waiting for the moment, and in the end, never said the skiver. So the petition was tight. You're waiting to go and Kiddush Hashem. Was it tight? So he said that when Rabbi Akiva, went on Kiddush Hashem, so that's also the greatness of the Eivisha. He said, why is it called Kedushas HaShem? And they should call it terrible execution of innocent people. Why do they say Kedushas Hashem? He said, because through a great tzaddik giving himself away like that, for the sake of his principles, for the sake of the Jewish people, if the world praises when the mitzvah gets clapped, how much more so the world praises the greatness of the Eivisha and the greatness of the Jewish people because of that. He said, therefore, every Yid who suffers something, he has to be pleased, he has to be picked as a very small Rabbi Akiva. And he has to say that what a great thing that I'm suffering, because through that, everybody's going to know that there's a cheshbon in this world. Exactly what the cheshbon we don't always know. But this is zikr that the Eivisha got some meaning. And remember, you're like a way of praising Hashem. If you have a difficulty in life, that's your way of being used to praise Hashem. He said, therefore, Yidden never complain. I state the B'titchva, he said, Yidden have never complained all the generations. If there's any people that should have complained, it's the Yidden. He said, Yidden have never complained. That's how it is. He said, because through them is this unbelievable praising of Hashem's Kedushas Hashem. People begin to realize that there must be something going on around it. What's it is? Tell that there's some unbelievable cheshbon here in the world, and that's called Kiddush Hashem. So every time a Yid has a little problem and he has a little suffering, he sees that like a piece of Kiddush Hashem. He said the Goyim are not able to see that. And therefore the Eivishter says, nonetheless do it for them. And he said, that's the Pshat Hallelujah Hashem called Goyim. And then he says, Asher Nisim Gevulis and Efroish also Hadayu. And he makes a gewaldige deal. In lots of Aramic, Hadayu means he's done alongside them or with them. He doesn't say to them. A nes is made for you or to you. So it should be written Lochu or Lochem in the Gemara. Well, it's written Asher also Bahadayu. In other words, Aves didn't do them Nisim directly, he did Nisim with them. In other words, by them. That through them saying what they did, the people said, oh ho ho, you see there is a cheshbon in the world. Amazing. It's just unbelievable. I mean, you read that, yeah, it's all out on stores. I mean, it's a whole new understanding. Context that the B'titchva has been Mechadish Shir Achidish Pele. The whole inyan of suffering has got different ideas. The whole inyan of suffering in the world is different forms of Kiddush Hashem. And if you suffer, you should be pleased. I wish everybody only tell you Vanira Vanigla. There should be any suffering. Or if somebody does have a bit of a hard time, and there is a knach, as they call it. You know what a knach is? Where things are running over, some little thing jabs in the way and stops the whole works. Yeah. If there's a knach, and somehow or another you do stub your ruchni stick a toe, or your gashmi stick a toe, or whatever happens, that you have to praise Eivd, because that's the Eivd's way of showing Kedusha Shmoi. He's showing that there's some cheshbon in the world that ain't nothing we don't know. But later on in life you'll see what it was. If you're Zeicha, you'll see what it was, and it might take time, but eventually you'll see what it was. And that will became the Eivd directly. He doesn't want to connect with that because he doesn't want the people should be Misraim and get it the wrong way. Therefore, that only goes through so you go, you take care of that because that's going to take time. And in the meantime, I don't want people should misunderstand me. Amazing, Pili plus for that. Aber as is that the heilige B'titchva. Kommt zu gehen, the B'titchva, he brings down the Arizal that I quoted before, and he brings a whole raya from that. We've already bought more or less the raya, and then he brings a Rambam in the Moira Nevuchim. He brings a Rambam, tonight is the Rambam, in the Sefer Moira Nevuchim. The Rambam wrote the Moira Nevuchim for people that they were Nevuchim. How do you call Nevuchim? They were wandering around in difficulties, so they couldn't settle things down, they couldn't sort things out. So the Rambam says like this. He says, why is it written in davening? We say it's based on a pasuk. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam yetzer oyer uvoirei chosh. Yetzer oyer uvoirei chosh. You formate the light, but you create the dark. So he said, the Rambam said a fairly thick thing. Yetzer means that you shape something. After it's already there. Voirei means that you bring it out. Yesh mi ayin, like the Ramban said, right at the beginning of the time. To bring a thing about yesh mi ayin, that's only the Eivd can do. That's the bria, that's the etzem creation. You bring about from ayin, you bring it. But that can be shapeless, like we had the other night in Tzura. That can be shapeless. That's the etzem matzias, I think. Tzura, that's only an extra shape and a beauty or whatever form and expressive union that David puts into something. So he said, Choshich is David made it, and that's just the way it is. It's shapeless, Choshich. Doesn't have any, that's the way it is. Oyer is already a meaningful, shapeful in you. But the Eibishter brings that about, and that has an effect, and it brings other further oil, and it lights everything up, and warms everything, and makes everything different. Yoitzer oil, the Eibishter has to shape and form, because that's what he loves. He brings it, he just leaves it. So it's a shapeless and not good thing to have. Stay told in the Rambam. And therefore he said, the Yitzrei Shalodam Nikra Choshen. The Rambam says that your Yetzer Hara is called Choshen. He said, from where? Because the Eibishter brought it about, but he doesn't really want it out. The Eibishter brought it out, that's what the Alter Rebbe is in Tanya. He brought it about in order that you should have Bechira. Oh, it should have choice. But the B'titcher says the same thing. He said, why should the Eibishter do that? Bring about things what he himself said, the scornish. It's just Boyer Yesh Me'ayin doesn't have any shape. Why should the Eibishter do that? He said, because he wants you to know the difference between Yoitzer Oil and Boyer. He said, he wants that you should chap what's it the difference. And you should be Boicher with your own Bechira. And he said, then the Eibishter is a melech. He said, if he's not, if you don't have Bechira, he's only a dictator, he's not a melech. And that's written in Chabad Barichas Gedolim. That he got from, not nice to say it, but he got it from the Alter Rebbe. That the whole Ina from Malucha and kingship is based on choice. We make a king over. We cause the king to rule over. Then he's a king. If he just comes along and throws himself at you and he sits on you, then he's not a king. He's a dictator. And the emissary from kingship is when you take on yourself the king. And I mean, it's an unbelievable principle. He said that's the whole reason why it is that there has to be this union of what appears to be bad. That after when there's bad and good, that's when there's this union of Yoitzer Oil. And that leads to the unbelievable praise of Hashem's name. And therefore everybody says, Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu, Melech. That's how it leads. People praise and they say, oh, the Eibishter king over the world. He said, however, those who don't find that they can do that, nonetheless the Eibishter doesn't achieve that even when they cop it. And even when they do a book the time. But the very fact that they cop it, that is the praise of the Eibishter. Unbelievable word. The heilige B'ditcher. Lefi zeh kumt is that there's nothing bad. Shum davar lo tov. There's nothing bad. And if there's anything really bad and you get stuck in the bad, then you have to realize you're stuck with yourself. Du hast gemacht the bad. Aber see, mamish bad and nicht. And if you get stuck with the bad, then you're stuck with it. Unbelievable. That can, with a bit of taste of his beer, das ist die Divrei HaBeditcher in dem Stikel. If he said, come to us, that's very good. Now, what the Eibishter said to Moshe Rabbeinu, he said to Moshe Rabbeinu, give a cook. He said, you got to go into, and there's going to be toiv, and there's going to be what appears to be Ra. And in that Gufa, therefore the B'titcher learns in the Arizal, I couldn't figure it. Because when I looked up the Arizal, what the B'titcher writes in the Kedusha Slave, it's not written in the Arizal, steht nicht dort. But he said, no, that's what the Arizal, I thought to myself, we should do it, the steht nicht dort, it's not written. But jetzt verstehe. What he means to say is that the Arizal is telling us like the sword of evil and good. Even though it's a very little Albatische piece in there, he's telling me that was it the secret of good and evil. And he's telling me that there's certain things that they look to be bad, and that it's due that it should be bad to that particular person, but it's not really bad. So of course that's another way of praising it's another way of bringing toiv into the world. And if the Rizal says on that principle of L'cho, you go, you'll be my shliach, well, that applies also to the Mitri, because in the Rizal it's not written, it only applies to the Yidden. And the B'titcher said, no, you can learn that by even Kloli, B'chol Machias Ha'olam. And that's what the Gemara said. That's how he links it with that Gemara. He makes the connection with that Gemara in Masechta Pesachim, that they copped the Yidden. No, also Nisim Bahadayu, together with them, through them, he did unbelievable Nisim, and people will praise praise the world, and I praise the Yidden, and I praise the Eibishter, and I total sein, al tada Yesa, Toi. Das ist der Pshat Shlichus, das ist der Pshat that Moshe Rabbeinu becomes a Shliach for Mamish Toi Vanira Vanigla, which means that if you connect yourself up with Moshe Rabbeinu and you become tied to him, then the part that he has in the Shliach is directly connected with the Eibush. It can only bring good. That won't be Toi Vanira Vanigla. The rest of it Moshe Rabbeinu will also do, but he does that kilo. It's not really the Emes of Shlichut. That you have to go for that also. Oh, that's not the Emes of Shlichut. And if you link yourself with the Rebbe and you go only the way the Rebbe does things, and you say what the Rebbe says, you can only bring Toi Vanira Vanila, because you become a Shliach for Moshe Rabbeinu. And that's what the Rebbe said. Everybody in our generation is a Shliach. And Shliach and Moshiach are the same words, except that there's 10 missing. Yeah, but that's the SHK of the Nisham. And if you put your whole SHK into listening to what Moshe Rabbeinu says, that Moshe Rabbeinu says Moshiach, and you're a Shliach, then all you got to do is put your 10 into it. And your 10 is your SHK on Nefesh, and to do that you got to put a heck in, you got to put your Yechida in also. And that's the other thing what the Rebbe said, that you got to put your Ad Yechida Shebenef. If we join up with that Shliach, then the Eibush says, there's parts of it which are not so poshut, and that's also Moshe Rabbeinu. Because the Rebbe said about Stalin, that he had no choice, he had to make him away, he made him away. It was very famous for Bring, where the Rebbe said, now he's going to pay you. And it happened. In other words, that there's certain things that Moshe Rabbeinu has to carry out. So nowadays everybody talks about Stalin or him and Stalin in history. The way you have to talk about Stalin, that's what the Baditcher, you have to talk about Stalin, that he was a medium through which we know how the Eibush punishes the evil, and therefore Kiddush Shmoy Alidei. If you learn about a person called Stalin Yamak Shemoy, then you have to learn about him in such a way that he's a raya, how the Eibush that does Gevulis through the Goyim. Today we should know about the greatness of his payment of the evil. And that's what you get told of these goylems in all the schools and all over the world. They talk about Joseph Stalin Yamak Shemoy, the Hitler and the other masses, but they have to say no, that the only way we understand anything that's worth mentioning, the name this bird, also Gevuri Bahadayu, that through them we can come to understand what is the Heipach for the human race, and that's Kedusha Shmoy. Once again, Yid like Rabbi Akiva, Nebuch Hachmoni, and Tlan gave away his life, straight away, right in Pitler and Bees and Pnimis, Vak and Pini saying safe, Mamish, das is Kedusha Shmoy. And therefore it's brought down in the Arizal, another thing which is written in the Arizal. Every day when you daven, you have to connect yourself over, and you say in Hoidu, Keil Nikomis, say fear, Keil Nikomis, that you have to connect yourself with the Asara Haruge Malchus, with the 10 Rabbanim. They gave away their lives to by the Romans, and Rabbi Akiva was the chief one. And you have to link up with that, because this is the Emes Koyach of Kedusha Shmoy. That's directly. You don't have to go around the corner and say, oh yeah, the Eibush was Makali Shmoy Alidei, already gave it to them. But here, this is Emes Kedusha Shmoy. And so the soda, the Baditchba is that even if you stub your toe, or you have some other problem in life, and you have suffering, you have to realize that there's a cheshbon b'dor. It's a tikkun for you or for somebody. Maybe it's not even a tikkun. Maybe it is that the Eibush needs you to have those yisurim for your own shleim. Who knows? But so this is Kiddush Shmoy. That's a form of Kiddush Hashem. Every little detail of Jewish suffering is a form of Kiddush Hashem. As they state in the Bible, that's the pshat in Zayin about it. And that's what the Rambam reveals. The Rambam says that Chosh Gegonim. Oil is the Indian. Oil is how the Eibush shapes. And he gives it directly. And Chosh is sometimes Moshe Rabbeinu has to deal with that also, but that's just a little chor, that's just going. Isn't it the emphasis? But it's also part of the deal. Hallelujah, Hashem Kol Goyim should be Goyim taken from Yad Mami. But all the Goyim, without having to be wiped out. What about having to be slogged and harried and down hands and masses? That all the goyim should come around and praise the Eibishter, and they should say, we praise you, even for all the punishments he gave us because it was due to it. We praise you for that also, and they will. And then the Eibishter will say, good, well, maybe we'll just stay. Maybe we'll just stay on. Maybe. There will be a judgment, Bedolim. But the Rebbe says it will be good for Fatay. Alachas kama v'kama b'nei shokal v'chayma, b'nei shokal v'chayma, that'll be good for the Yid. Right now we're facing a point where Achmonin there's certain inyanim what this have to be done, and it can't be helped. On the contrary, that'll be the praise of those guys. They state in the B'dita, and he was a very merciful person. Which he was a lover of all human beings. He was a lover of Yin. And he said that there's certain people, they just have to cop it, and that's their way of showing the greatness of Hashem. But if you leave them, then you just cause the hatred of the greatness of Hashem. You leave them, and that's the pshat of Amalek. That's why you have to get rid of Amalek. And that's the greatness of Hashem, that you got rid of Amalek. If there's certain things are going on now that they just have no brainer, ein malasot, and that is the merciful Father of the world says that's got to be done. And it's not good just for the 6 million Yidden in Eretz HaKodesh, it's good for everybody throughout the whole world, because what happened in India and all over the world with terrorism, and there's 30,000 American soldiers chasing around after all sorts of Mishugoyim in Afghanistan and other places, all because people didn't realize that the so-called Hamas with the Alamas is over here, you just got to get rid of them. And that is the emes and nisim, and those touch the heilige, but it's mami bull. He said those are the pshat in the Gemara. Hallelujah, kogen bahadayu. Not that you did nisim to them, but through them and with them, there comes upon a praising of Hashem. And how much more so by you? And Hashem said, that's the way, that's the only way, and then it'll be peace for the whole world, and peace for everybody, and peace for the Arab. The Rebbe said it's bad for the Arab, all these things. That you let these people grow, and you let them have power, and you give them honor with the whole thing, that is bad for them. It's not good for them either. Hashem should help us. There'll be Makuyim, Hallelujah, Es Hashem, Kogoy. All the goyim will get around, they'll all say to the Eibishter, we praise you. Yeah, we praise you for what you did, not only in the world in general, we praise you what did to us. And Eden, Alachas Kamavanu Anan, Ki Gover Aleinu Chavte. We'll see Emes of Chesed from the Eibishter, Gover Aleinu is Gabrus of Chesed, and Biskalas, the Rebbe Melech HaMashiach, La'ena Kol Bosa, to the whole world, and it'll be a new world and a better world. Take it from Yad Mamash. Amen.